Hello, everyone. Welcome back to LearnFlow English. I'm Mia.
And I'm Alex. So great to be back with all of you.
Alex, you look like you have something important to say today. I can see it on your face.
Mia, I do. I had a conversation this week that completely changed how I think about grammar teaching.
Really? What happened?
So, I was helping my neighbor's daughter, her name is Priya, she's 17, with her English homework, and she was doing this grammar exercise, filling in verb tenses correctly.
That sounds like normal homework.
It was completely normal, and she was getting every single answer right. Perfect scores.
So, what was the problem?
20 minutes later, her mom called her for dinner, and Priya turned to me and said in English, "I go now. Dinner is ready from my mother."
Oh, so perfect on the exercise, but not quite natural in real speech.
And here's what really struck me. Priya wasn't embarrassed or confused. She genuinely thought her English was good because she gets perfect scores on grammar tests.
That breaks my heart a little.
Mine too, because she's a smart, dedicated student. She studies hard, but the way she's been taught has actually created a trap for her.
The grammar trap?
Exactly. And Priya is not unusual. This is happening to millions of English learners around the world right now. They're studying grammar intensively, and it's actually slowing down their natural fluency.
This seems almost controversial. Are you saying grammar isn't important?
That's the nuance we need to discuss today, because grammar is important, but the way most people study it is completely backwards.
Backwards how?
Most learners study grammar rules first, then try to apply them in conversation. But that's the opposite of how the human brain actually acquires language naturally.
How does the brain acquire language naturally?
Through exposure and pattern recognition first, rules and analysis second. Think about how children learn their first language. No grammar books, no verb conjugation tables, just massive exposure to natural speech.
And they still end up speaking perfectly.
With perfect intuitive grammar, because their brain absorbed the patterns first and built the rules internally, not the other way around.
This is going to be a fascinating episode. Let's share everything with our viewers.
Before we dive in, everyone watching, please subscribe to LearnFlow English.
Hit that subscribe button. This is episode 5 of our Learning Secrets series.
And this one might challenge everything your English teacher ever told you.
Alex, let's define the grammar trap precisely. What exactly is it?
The grammar trap is what happens when a learner becomes so focused on producing grammatically correct sentences that they lose the ability to speak naturally and spontaneously.
So it's another version of the analytical mode we talked about in episode 3?
Beautifully connected, Mia. Yes, the grammar trap is essentially analytical mode, caused specifically by grammar obsession. The learner has a running grammar checker in their head during every conversation.
What does that internal grammar checker sound like?
It sounds like this. I want to say this, but wait, is it present perfect or past simple? Should I use since or for? Is this countable or uncountable? Wait, did I use the right preposition? And while all that checking is happening,
The conversation has moved on, the moment has passed, and the learner either says nothing or produces a slow, unnatural sentence that doesn't sound like real English at all, even though technically the grammar might be perfect.
the grammar might be flawless and the communication has completely failed, because language isn't just about being correct, it's about being understood, being natural, and being connected to another person.
So, what's the alternative? Just ignore grammar completely?
Absolutely not. And this is the most important point of today's episode. Grammar knowledge is valuable, but when and how you focus on it makes all the difference.
Explain the difference.
There are two types of grammar knowledge. The first is called explicit grammar. That's the rules you can consciously explain. Present perfect is used for past experiences with present relevance.
You can state the rule clearly,
That's what most schools teach.
almost exclusively.
But the second type is called implicit grammar. That's the intuitive feeling that something sounds right or wrong without needing to think about the rule.
Like how a native speaker knows I have been sounds right, but I have be sounds wrong, without being able to explain why.
Exactly. And here's the critical insight from language research. Implicit grammar is what drives fluent conversation. Explicit grammar is useful for writing, editing, and formal communication. But in spontaneous speech, your brain simply doesn't have time to consult the rule book.
So the goal should be developing implicit grammar, that intuitive feeling?
That's the goal. And the way you develop implicit grammar is completely different from how most people study.
How do you develop it?
Through massive exposure to correct natural English combined with a specific technique called noticing. Let me explain both.
Tell me about massive exposure first.
Every episode of natural English you listen to, every film scene you study using the movie method, every conversation you have using the 30-second rule is building your implicit grammar database.
So all the techniques from our previous episodes are connected?
They all work together. Each episode of natural input adds thousands of correct grammatical patterns to your brain's database without you consciously studying a single rule.
And what is noticing?
Noticing is the technique of paying gentle attention to grammar patterns in natural input without stopping to analyze them deeply.
What does gentle attention mean?
It means when you're watching a film or listening to a podcast and you hear a grammatical structure that sounds interesting or unfamiliar, you simply notice it. You think, oh, that's interesting, they said it that way, and you move on.
You don't stop to look up the rule.
You don't stop, because stopping kills the flow and jumps you back into analytical mode. You simply notice, let it register, and continue. Your brain files it away automatically.
And over time, those noticed patterns become implicit knowledge.
Over time, they become instinct. The same way Priya's grammar homework became conscious rules, but noticing becomes unconscious fluency.
Alex, let's talk about how practically to restructure grammar study. What should learners do differently?
Perfect. Here's the Grammar Trap Escape Plan. 3 specific changes that completely transform how grammar learning works.
Change number 1.
Change number 1. Stop studying grammar rules in isolation. Start studying grammar in context. Instead of reading, the present perfect is formed with have, has, plus past participle, find 10 real examples of present perfect being used naturally in films, podcasts, or conversations.
So the context teaches the feeling of the grammar, not just the rule.
Your brain learns grammar the way it was designed to learn it, through patterns in meaningful communication, not through abstract rules disconnected from real language.
Change number 2.
Change number 2. Move grammar correction to after speaking, never during. This is the most important change.
What do you mean by after?
When you're having a conversation or doing your 30-second rule practice, you speak freely with zero self-correction. You let mistakes happen. After the conversation is finished, then you can reflect on what you said and think about what might have been more accurate.
So you separate the speaking brain from the editing brain.
They cannot operate at the same time effectively. A surgeon operates first, reviews the procedure later. A musician performs first, analyzes afterwards. Speaking fluency works the same way.
What's change number 3?
Change number 3. Use grammar rules as confirmation, not as permission. Most learners wait for grammar permission before speaking. I'm not sure if this is correct, so I won't say it.
Instead of just saying it and seeing what happens.
Instead, speak first. Then if you're curious about why something is correct or incorrect, look up the rule afterwards as confirmation of what you already instinctively felt.
So grammar becomes a tool for understanding, not a gatekeeper for speaking.
Beautiful way to put it. Grammar is your map, but you don't need to read the map while you're running. You study the map before you run, and you consult it when you stop to rest.
What about learners who are preparing for English exams like IELTS or TOEFL? Don't they need explicit grammar?
Absolutely, and this is an important distinction. For written exams, explicit grammar knowledge is very valuable. Writing gives you time to think, plan, and check. The grammar trap applies specifically to spoken fluency.
So the advice today is specifically for people who want to speak more naturally?
For conversational fluency, yes, reduce the internal grammar checker during speaking. For academic writing or formal exams, explicit grammar knowledge remains important.
What are the most common grammar areas where learners get most trapped?
The top 3 grammar trap areas are verb tenses, especially present perfect versus past simple, articles, a, and the, which don't exist in many languages, and prepositions, in, on, at, for, since, which are notoriously unpredictable.
These are the areas where learners freeze the most.
These 3 areas account for probably 70% of mid-conversation grammar freezing. And ironically, native speakers use these structures automatically without thinking about them at all.
Because they developed implicit knowledge through exposure, not through rules.
Exactly. A native speaker doesn't think present perfect for past experience with present relevance. They just feel that I've been to Paris sounds right, and I went to Paris sounds slightly different in meaning.
The feeling carries the grammar, not the rule.
That is the entire secret of fluent grammar, and every learner can develop that feeling with the right approach and enough natural exposure.
What results can people expect when they escape the grammar trap?
Within 2 to 3 weeks of removing the internal grammar checker during speaking practice, most learners notice their sentences become longer and more natural. The hesitations reduce significantly.
Even if the grammar isn't always perfect?
Even if, and here's the beautiful truth, even if the grammar isn't always perfect, communication becomes more successful because fluency and confidence communicate competence to listeners far more than perfect grammar does.
Native speakers judge fluency more than accuracy.
Research consistently shows this. A confident, fluent speaker who makes occasional grammar errors is perceived as more competent than a hesitant, slow speaker with perfect grammar.
That should be incredibly liberating for our viewers.
It was liberating for me when I first understood it. Permission to be imperfect in service of being fluent.
Let's give everyone their challenge. Everyone watching, here is your grammar trap challenge for this week.
Challenge Part 1. Your 30-second rule practice this week has one extra rule. Absolutely zero self-correction allowed. Speak for 30 seconds, make mistakes freely. Keep going no matter what.
Challenge Part 2. Find 3 examples of present perfect being used naturally in a film, YouTube video, or podcast this week. Don't study the rule, just notice how it sounds and feels in context.
Challenge Part 3. The next time you want to say something in English but you're not sure if the grammar is correct, say it anyway. Speak first, check later.
Tell us in the comments, what grammar rule makes you freeze the most in conversation?
Is it verb tenses, articles, prepositions? Tell us below. Your answer helps us create better content for everyone.
Subscribe to LearnFlow English for more learning secrets.
Next episode, we're taking the Learning Secrets series in a brand new direction. The accent trap. Why trying to sound like a native speaker is holding you back.
That one is going to surprise a lot of people.
Until next time, remember, fluency is not about being perfect.
It's about being understood, being natural, and being confident.
Happy learning, everyone.
See you next time.